Alright, wow, this is something that I've been wanting to talk about forever. For so long, I really just... Please, hopefully, you're sitting there and being like, oh my gosh, finally someone said it, because me too. When I started Instagram 3 years ago, now that I look back and think about it, I realized that having an eating disorder, having anxiety about my body, and when it came to food, not being able to go out and just be like normal, I basically didn't have a social life, and I chose not to, because going out and eating, going out and drinking, just hanging out with people, I had so much struggle with anxiety and depression and with food and my body that I would rather just be home by myself, or at the time I lived with my boyfriend. I would just rather be there because it felt like a safe space with no judgment and no challenges. I would never have to face anything, but I also let myself be in a hole of struggle, just focusing on literally all I would do is make sure I went to the gym and make sure I tracked all my food that day. Obviously I did well in school, college, I have a great career now, I'm an academic researcher, so that's all I really cared about, all the staple things that I could control. I could control all the work that I'm doing, all the homework, all the A's I'm getting, my food, my calories, my weight, my body fat, and my sessions at the gym. That leaves you absolutely lonely and depressed and not having a life. I had no life. I think a lot of people are struggling with that, and with Instagram and having social media as a way to connect with the world, it was an excuse for me basically to not try to hang out with people in real life. I could look at my screen and I had all these friends. I could text all these amazing friends that I made from social media, and just by the way guys, no regrets as to me making more friends on social media than in real life, because those are some of my closest friends, like the closest people to me now. But now that I'm kind of out of that zone where I didn't have any real life friends, I have real life friends now. I get to physically be with people and go out and enjoy food and company adventures. It's like, dang, that's crazy. Like, and not judging my old self, I just feel so bad. I feel so bad for my old self. I was so freaking lonely. So not having a life and not having friends and not feeling like you are a real person, but then using my phone and social media and YouTube and Instagram as a way to feel like I mattered, I never want that for anyone else. And I know it's also a common thread for most of us. The amazing friends that I've made through social media, we would all bond over that. We would say, no one gets us, no one understands us, no one gets me like you do. And that's why I'll just be friends with people who also have fitness Instagram. It worked, and you know what? It made me feel safe and belonging, and it was good for that time in my life. I just want to maybe prevent people from perpetuating that as their only source of socialization. I want you to be able to have friends and interactions in real life and go out and do things and feel like you have a presence in the real world, because I wasted, I feel like, a lot of my life because I wasn't ready to show up in the real world. But if someone had shown me that that was what I was really struggling with and kind of helped me through it, that would have probably helped me get here sooner. The biggest idea that really stopped me from making any friends is because I felt like people in the real world, you know, people who I didn't know from Instagram, who I knew they had eating disorders, or I knew they were really into lifting, or I knew they struggled with anxiety, or just knew how to track macros like I did, I felt like that was like what made us click. And I was like, oh, people in the real world won't know that. But do people in the real world really have to know how to measure things with grams on a food scale? Do they really have to lift with you? Do they really need to know exactly what an eating disorder feels like just to be friends with you? No. And I used to think that they really did. I was like, I want these people to get me from the start. I don't want to have to try and like be vulnerable and show them who I am. You can connect with anyone and everyone. You don't need to just both have Instagram profiles. You both don't need to have past struggles with food and anxiety. You don't have to do all of that same stuff just to connect with them. Let yourself meet new people, and there's something so valuable and irreplaceable about these relationships I made with social media. But my goodness, having friends in real life and being able to like call them and see them every day, meet up to go get frozen yogurt, like just have them come to your apartment, have real friends, that's like unbelievable. And I didn't have that until now, and it was only when I was ready to open up and I was like, I'm lonely. I need real friends. And I don't know, I think I'm too attached to my phone. And what if my Instagram profile was just deleted? What would I do? Wouldn't I feel like a huge part of my identity was lost? I don't think that Instagram is all of me, everything of who I am. Of course, I have a career outside of it, friends and family. I'm also a singer outside of Instagram. I don't just work out and do all that stuff. But it is, I will admit, as all of us should be able to, it is a huge part of our identity. It's also a huge part of our confidence, at least for me. It definitely feels very validating to know that a lot of people care about you, look up to you, admire you. We all want that in life. We all just want love and acceptance and attention. We are just humans. That's what we want, and we want to connect with people. And when you also realize that being a human being, what's most fulfilling is truly making interpersonal connection with people, connecting with humans, you realize you gotta do it in real life. You gotta go out and do activities with real people, physically be with them, and be flexible with meeting new people, being open, and knowing that at the end of the day, no one will really be that judgmental of you. It's really just yourself. If you show people you are loving and open, I promise you it will come back to you. And not from everyone, of course, because that's life, right? But it has served me very well to go into the world, especially the physical world now, with an open mind and open heart, and really wanting to get to know people and not feel like they have to have everything on my checklist, all the criteria that I need, when I used to think that I will only be able to connect with people that do the exact same things I do. It really is hard to admit, and that's why I hadn't made this video yet. It was so hard for me to admit that I had no friends. And that's obviously an overstatement. I've had childhood friends forever, friends from high school, friends I made in college. I always did maintain a decent social life. But when you just realize that most of it's just through your phone, it's a very scary, intimidating, embarrassing moment, but it's also very humbling. When I finally accepted it, I was able to change and make changes in my life. And now I'm happier than I ever have been, because I feel like someone who's really present in the world with people, and I know you can do that. If you guys ever want me to talk more about these kinds of topics, about just more non-fitness or non-transitional things, like this is a huge issue in the fitness industry, and it was a huge struggle for me, so I would love to talk more about this. If you want me to, go ahead and comment below. If you do, please like this video if you do like it. This is nothing against the fitness industry or anything, or I mean, Instagram is a light, a huge light in my life, and I love it so much, and I appreciate everything it's ever given to me. I just wanted to find balance, and I would not be who I am, where I am in this world without social media and the friends I've made. So really, I just was trying to achieve balance and start being more present in the real world with in real life people. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helped. I hope it gave you some insight, and I really, really hope that you guys connected with it, so I'm not the only person who didn't have friends for a long time because she was really, really into social media. Love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!
I'ma change your life, I'ma change it. Yeah. I'ma change your life. I'ma change your life, I'ma change it. I'ma change your life. I'ma change your